What's going on YouTube? Welcome to my channel, Money Moves with K. I am K, and today we're going to talk about 5 sneaky ways to find cheap properties before anyone else does, all right? One of the main frustrations with real estate is that you may not be able to find the cheap deal before everyone else knows about it. So you can use this video as some Jedi mind tricks to try to beat other competitors or your competitors before the deal is taken up, right? So these are some really sneaky ways, so pay attention, make sure you take notes, and of course, make sure you stay to the end of the video so that you can get some of my best tips. I reserve my best tips to the folks who actually dedicate their time to me, and I put that at the end of the video, all right? So let's go ahead and start. The first thing I wanted to mention is get the master list. So you're gonna get the master list of a city or county that you're interested in investing in, okay? So this master list basically outlines future dealings and future dealings in that particular area. So they put out a plan to say, okay, within 5 or 10 years from the date that they plan it, this is how we want our area to look. This is what we want. We want low density housing, medium density. We want high density. We want more commercial buildings. We want more, they call it like space for parks and recreation, things of that nature. So you'll get all of that information within your master plan. So where do you get the master plan? You get the master plan from your county or city. It's free, it's public information. And in fact, most people solicit others in the community to vote on what they want their future to look like, right? So you might be wondering, how does this come into play with trying to figure out how to get a cheap property? What does this have to do with getting a cheap property? Well, you're able to get first dibs on property knowing that something is going to happen in the area, right? So you may know of a revitalized area may be happening. You may be able to take advantage of potentially opportunity zones. The list goes on of how you can take advantage of this by being the first to know what's going on in the county or city that you're trying to invest in. So you're beating all your competitors. All your other competitors are waiting for it to come on the news or newspaper or word of mouth to say, hey, did you know that in 5 years this is going to happen? Or did you know next year there's going to be an Amazon or something like that here? Or did you know that we can now build duplexes in this area versus just single family homes? So you are able to get first dibs on those properties before the price and the equity, or I should say the value of those properties goes up. So finding out the master plan of the particular area that you're interested in investing in is very important. It may be called a master plan or it may be called a future land use map. Either one, go ahead and get that from your county or city to get started. Number 2 on the list is I want you to try to figure out, so all of the things on this list are thinking outside of the box. You have to think outside of the box in order to get these properties for good deals. So identifying permits within your area, okay? So let me break this down. The second tip that I'm giving you is find out the permits in your area. So what's coming to your area? So corporations, businesses, what's happening, what activity is happening in your area. So if you're able to find out the permits, which by the way, that's one of the first stops that companies, even housing, right? That's one of the first stops these houses, or not houses, but these construction builders or corporations do in order to build their property or commercial property or residential too. So once you find out the permit, you're able to say, there's an Amazon or there's a Starbucks or a Publix coming to my area. How do I know that? I got first dibs on that information because I know the permits. I pull the permits. How did I pull the permits? It's public information. You can get that from your county as well. This is just an example of 2 permits that I found in my particular area that I'm interested in investing in. This was a Popeyes. Initially, I thought this was going to be Popeyes and a Starbucks like beside each other, and I think that's what the original plans were. However, the plans changed. So this is a Popeyes that was initiated and is actually built to this day. So it was brand new. I knew about it before a lot of other investors knew about it, and I'll tell you in a minute how this could benefit you, right? This was, I think, a plant or manufacturing company or something that was coming to the area, and they had to submit their permits to the county in order for them to, as one of their prerequisite or foundational things they had to do in order to build what they wanted to build. Now, How does this play into helping you find these cheap properties? Well, I'll give you a great example. In Liberty, North Carolina, and around that surrounding area, there is a Toyota plant that's being built. It could be already finished, right? How did I know that? I knew about that a little bit in advance prior to it hitting the news, and I heard it on the news as well because I did the first step. I looked at the master plans, but aside from the master plans, I looked at the permits. That's really what gave me inside information of a corporation coming into the area. So by getting those permits, Toyota's coming to the area. Okay, bet. What is the first thing they did? They purchased a ton of land in the area. Okay, so that means that if you have land in that area, guess what you benefit from? You benefit from Toyota, not just Toyota, but other companies coming into the area and wanting to build. Because once you have a manufacturing plant or a company come in that brings jobs, that increases the economy, because now people have a little bit more money to spend. And what are they spending it on? You could have a food truck in that area and kill, right? Kill meaning like really do a great job, because now you've niched down and you've entered a market where you may not have known that you could have entered. As far as real estate is concerned, buying land in those areas, because what's going to happen? A home developer is going to come in the area and they're going to say, hey, I need some land. Why do I need land? Because I need to build a housing development, right? And in order to do that, you need the land. So if you are a savvy investor and you get in ahead of time, knowing that permits were pulled, in order to build, then you are able to swoop up some of those properties that more than likely are at a cheaper price before the building happens, right? Because once the building happens, it's too late. You've already passed the mark of getting a really, really good deal before activity happens in the area. So keep that in mind. That's number 2. So pulling the permits and knowing what's happening in your city, what corporations, organizations, companies are coming to your area or county, not just city, town, or whatever. It could be the difference between you making a lot of money and you just sitting on the sidelines and just watching everybody else make money. You're trying to figure out, how do they know this? How did they get this inside information? Well, they probably knew this information ahead of time. All right, number 3, I want you to look at utility. And I have everything marked out on the right-hand side because it's somebody's information. I don't want to put that out there. But looking at utility billing liens or utility liens, or some may say the water shutoff list. Now, let's talk about it. So if you are able to find utility billing liens, right, within the city or county that you're interested in investing in, you're now able to identify folks who may need help, right? So you can swoop in, offer them a lower deal because obviously they didn't have enough money, unfortunately, to pay their water bill or utility bills, not just always water. And therefore they had a lien that was placed on the property. So you as an investor can go in and try to help them, right? Help solve their problem, which is funding. They need some money. How do I know they need money? Because they were not able to meet the need of paying their utility bill. So this is just a screenshot, but this was just like, if you see up here, this is like lists. It's thousands. And this is by date. So 2024, 24,000, 2023, 24,000 as well. It goes on and on. This list goes on and on and on and on and on of folks who have a utility lien on their property. Now, you can get this, this is public record. However, you can also get a water shutoff list from PropStream, okay? So PropStream is linked in the description. I'll give you my code so you can get 7-day free trial on PropStream. But there you're able to get this list, not just from one county or city, but multiple counties and cities, okay? So keep that in mind. Go to PropStream, click the link in the description to go ahead and secure that. Moving on to this is my favorite one. Moving on to the 4th way to find, sneaky way to find properties. It's a site called SeeClickFix. I looked down because I want to make sure I said it right. SeeClickFix. So SeeClickFix is really an opportunity for the community members, neighbors, to, at the end of the day, they're snitching, right? So they're telling on each individual neighbor as far as like saying, hey, this neighbor's, this yard is the grass is too high. They also tell about like if they encounter like potholes in the area, if there's a wild animal. It's just a platform for folks to air out their grievances about the community and help in a way. So it's not all about snitches. It's really about helping individuals. But in some cases, I've seen a lot of different cases where it's like, why would you tell on that? However, this is the super sneaky way to find properties. Check this out. So this is somebody who took a picture of somebody else's house and they place it on this platform because who sees the platform? Code enforcement sees the platform, and other folks from the county see the platform, and they can absolutely, or it gives them the opportunity to help and to go by the property and try to solve the issue, right? Or issue the person a fine as well. So the person took a picture, and then this is what they wrote. I believe squatters are trying to get into the abandoned house. If you don't know, a squatter it's almost a derogatory phrase in a way, but it's a phrase that folks say for those who are living in somebody else's home, right? I believe squatters are trying to get into this abandoned house. Homeowners should be contacted and made aware of trespassers and lock the gate that has been ran into by a car. Anonymous click fix user. So this is a user, this is public information. Now, you might say, Kay, how would you use this information in order to find a good deal, a cheap deal? Well, as an investor, my antennas automatically went off. It said, first of all, I saw the picture, I see the trash. And the person who actually took this picture and reported this is probably right. It's probably squatters in the property trying to, maybe potentially take over the house or whatever the case may be. That's not necessarily what I was concerned about. My antennas went off because it made me think. I said, I bet, I can guarantee, or I could take an educated guess and say that this particular property probably has back taxes. So what did I do? And I have the address marked out. What did I do? I looked up this property on the tax assessors, and boom, they owe 3 years worth of taxes. And if you know anything about this channel, you know that that is a good opportunity to reach out. And I also, with further investigation, I learned that this particular person is deceased. So they passed away. There's an heir to a property. So this would be a great opportunity to reach out to the person, the new owner of the property, the heir. I've done another video on how you can reach out to heirs and figure that out. On how to contact them or who the heir is. However, I just thought that to be interesting because I knew that something was going on with the property, especially with these comments about, and this is a neighbor. And I always give suggestions about like, contact your neighbor and see what's going on. They may know, they know a lot more information about the neighborhood because they live there, right? So like I said, this is one of my favorite Jedi mind tricks or sneaky tactics to find cheap properties. So that's number 4. Moving on to number 5 is to contact a wholesaler. A wholesaler, you may see signs in your neighborhood or on Facebook Marketplace, We Buy Houses Cash. These folks are investors as well, but they connect a cash buyer to a homeowner. Wholesaling is something that may or may not be allowed in your city or state. You would have to check and see. However, this is how I started in the real estate industry with no money, right? So I start wholesaling. If you know my story, we were stationed in Germany. My husband is military, and I started wholesaling. All I needed was proof of concept, and it worked. So I did this virtually. You could do this from the comfort of your home. But this was an opportunity for me to get into the real estate and learn so much. I've learned a ton about comps and everything just by wholesaling. So if you're interested in wholesaling or get into wholesaling, I do have an ebook. It's below I'll pin it in the comments and also place it in the description. You can check it out. But if you're an investor who is not a wholesaler, you can contact wholesalers and say, hey, what do you have? Now, my suggestion would be to call this number. So if you see this sign, We Buy Houses Cash, don't call this number. This is a fake number, right? But call that number that you see in your neighborhood and say, hey, do you have any properties? This is my criteria. This is what I'm looking for. they'll take their cut, a portion of that money, and then they'll also try to find what you're looking for. Okay. So keep that in mind. Wholesalers are a great way. You can also look on Facebook Marketplace. That's just an excellent way to find wholesalers as well, because that's where I camped out and sold all my properties. All right. That's the end of my video. So if you made it this far in the video, please in the description, or excuse me, in the comment section, place I won, because you won over your competitors by making it to the very end of the video. All right. Until next time, guys, you stay blessed. Peace.